Speaking of special members of our community, I'm particularly honored today to acknowledge and celebrate the 60th anniversary of our Associate Headmaster Emeritus, Dyson Ehrhardt. We can give him a round of applause. Good. Mr. Ehrhardt has done it all. He's taught, he's coached, all sorts of teams, served as Director of Admissions and Director of Development back. He was even a study hall proctor and he drove the bus. Most of all, though, Mr. Ehrhardt has been a mentor, a wise counselor, and I myself am particularly grateful to call him a mentor and friend. There are many of you in this room who've gotten to know Mr. Ehrhardt in your years here, and many more of you, perhaps, for whom your relationship with Mr. Ehrhardt stems to your brothers, your fathers, your uncles, your grandfathers, truly generations of Boys Latin alumni dating back to Mr. Ehrhardt's arrival in the early 1960s. Mr. Ehrhardt has more than rightly earned the title of Mr. BL. Over the last 18 months, the school's been engaged in an oral history project of Boys Latin, interviewing members of our community to reflect on the growth of our school, particularly in our time here on Lake Avenue. I want to share with you a brief snippet of that project that I think captures Mr. Ehrhardt.
Equambidary, you know, that's a pretty big one.
One of the stories that Dyson told me early on was he was frustrated teaching the 5th grade, and he was lamenting that to Mr. Williams. And as he went on and on about how the student didn't do his homework and didn't listen to what he was supposed to do and didn't fulfill his promises, Mr. Williams sat there and he smiled and he said, "But Dyson, have you heard him play the piano? Start with the strengths of the boy and leverage those strengths to help him become his very best."
Who do you care about? The kids are walking out that door. That's why we're here. If you think we're here for any other reason, you're really mistaken.
Dyson is Mr. Boys Latin.
I want to fall in love. You know, I want to fall in love with the place, and that's where I want to stay. And that I did.
Dyson Ehrhardt is Boys Latin School.
You are Mr. BL.
Dyson was just a great role model for all of us.
He really cared for the kids, and that's what I think is sort of behind the motto of Boys Latin.
You were the beacon, you were the light.
You got to listen to these kids. They all got a lot to say.
The narrative around education on an equation of 1 is real. That's real at this place.
All the art teachers play a great role, and I'm not sure they realize the role they play with these kids. These kids hang on every word they say. They go home that night and say, you know, Mr. So-and-so did this, or Miss So-and-so did that. You're just doing your job.
Every institution needs an individual like that.
My job happens to be trying to help young kids. We're here for the kids. I'm playing a very small part in this world, and I hope I reach a few people.
We'll have the lights come back on. There we go. Fellas, I hope you heard and understood Mr. Ehrhardt's words. We faculty members, teachers, coaches, advisors, we all hope to play just some small part in your lives, in your growth and development, and helping you become the very best version of yourselves that you can be. And our school, your school, Boys Latin, it's all about you, fellas. It always has been, and it always will be. No one, not one person, has been a greater champion for our school, for our boys, than Mr. Dyson Ehrhardt. Won't you join me in congratulating him? close.